Okay, so we're going to do a focus out meditation today. This will be a survey of all the focus out modalities. That's not normally how you might want to focus out at first in your life. You usually pick one object like your breath to focus on. But we will focus on the breath, and then we will focus on the sound, and then we will open our eyes and focus on an object. You might even want to set yourself up so you can see something that you'd like to focus on visually, or see outside and see the trees, or it's okay. You can focus out visually on absolutely anything, right? But it's nicer to focus on something that's slightly pleasant. So find yourself a seat. And we'll begin by focusing out on feel. But we'll do that by just, first of all, just tuning into our posture. Now, this is a story in our head, what a posture is, right? That's a concept, posture. But the only way we can tune into our posture is by feeling our sensory experience of the body. So, what are some things we want to feel in our posture? The first is a solid base. We want to feel the ground that our body is seated on. That can be a chair. It can be your feet on the ground if you're in a chair. If you're standing, it could be your feet on the ground just. If you're lying down, it could be your back along the ground. And traditionally, you'll be seated on a cushion or on the ground, cross-legged, and you'll feel your butt and your legs and your feet on the ground. Well, what you want to find is a sense of solidity. Now, solidity is already a higher level concept, right? It's got some good and bad in it. That's okay. But the way we tune into that is, what does it actually feel like sensorially? Well, it's usually a sense of balance and pressure between left and right, and a sort of low variability, right? You feel like you're solid and like you're not shifting all over the place. So you just sense, oh yeah, there's a steady pressure that's sort of balanced and equal across both sides of my body. You see how we're tuning in to feel out, even to sense into that part of our posture. Second part of the posture is a different set of feelings. We'll be going up our spine, and we're looking for a natural curve in our spine, but a general uprightness, a length in the spine. And now the feeling sensations. Now, again, we can sort of notice what it's like to feel this part of the body. It's very different. But if you're feeling your butt on the seat, it's kind of thick and dense and dark experientially. I'm giving words to it, but it's spacious. There's not as much sensation as you go up the spine. It might be a little more vibratory. There might be more movement of sensation. And you can check into your spine by feeling directly the sensory experiences of the present moment. You can go up vertebra by vertebra, and you'll notice, if you're paying attention, subtle is significant. Which vertebra do you just not feel? There's just an empty space right there, right? There could be an empty space because there's such little sensation. You haven't gotten used to sensing at that low level of detail. It could also be a sensation of numbness, which is an interesting feeling sensation to explore, but also more difficult because we're not used to attending to numbness. But then you go past those spaces and you'll feel, oh, there's a little bit of sensation there, a little bit of sensation there. Some of us have some pain or stiffness in our back. We might feel that. We're just going to go flowing around that. And we're just trying to go up vertebra by vertebra and just get out of the way and see if your spine can't rearrange itself into a more upright posture without forcing yourself into what you think is right. Yes, over time, it's useful to try and improve your posture for meditation. It helps your body, it helps your nervous system, and it helps your meditation. But if you make that something you're wrestling with right from the beginning, it'll get in the way of your meditation. So we just want to get as upright as feels comfortable. And that's the way to do that, is just to feel into the spine and let it rearrange itself. It can be very useful to focus on the chin and the back of the head. And the back of the head is if it's getting pulled up to the sky, or you might think there's a string in the top of your head, but a little bit more to the back as it's lengthening your neck and your chin comes down just a little bit. And you feel that again. These are ideas. I'm giving you orientations and names of parts of your body and stuff, but can you feel the sensations? And then the final aspect of feeling that we can really get in our posture is the feeling of relaxation. As we let go of everything else, the spine is upright. So whatever muscles we need to sort of be upright and lengthen, and then everything else relaxes that's ready to relax. And that's a feeling sensation. There's an idea of the word relaxation, but what does it feel like when you breathe out and your shoulders drop and your chest drops? Those are sensations that you can directly experience. And that is a way of letting go of the idea of relaxation and feeling directly what relaxation is like. Now we'll turn our attention to our breath and we'll focus on the belly today. But for those who have been following along with the instruction, you could choose a part of your breath or your body that is more resourceful, that feels better, that is easier for you to focus on. That's fine. But the belly is a good place to start for a lot of us. If you try and focus your attention on the feeling sensations in the belly as the breath comes in and the breath goes out. We are practicing concentration here, narrowing our attention to just the belly area. Let's go from like just above the groin to just above the belly button. Nice little area. Just let it go around to the sides of your body, even all the way around to the spine if you want. We're practicing acceptance, so we are not controlling our breath. We're allowing our breath. We're waiting for our breath. And what are we focused on? Well, you might notice that there's a picture in your mind of your belly breathing in and out. There's nothing wrong with having that picture in your mind. That's how our mind works. But we don't want to concentrate on the picture. We want to concentrate on the sensations of feeling in our body. The picture is our idea of the breath, but there are sensations in the belly. That is focus out. Now I'm going to be quiet here for a few minutes while we focus on the breath, and you can practice using a label like feel. When we use labels, it's not a mantra. We're not just saying feel over and over again. We're using the label to label our experience. So when we feel something, we say feel, 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 feel. Let me say this internally, not out loud. As you get better at this, you can notice more and more experiences of feel before your mind wanders. I can't remember the exact number, but it's something like you can notice 80 things a second. And obviously, you can't label all those. So we want to keep the labeling natural every 3 seconds, every 3 to 5 seconds. But we keep noticing in between those seconds. We notice as steadily as we can every micro moment of feeling sensation. At first, this will be one little moment every 10 seconds or every 5 minutes as well. Our mind might wander, but we slowly get our attention, our concentration more and more still. Meditation itself is not ultimately a goal oriented activity, but at first, we need to set some goals for ourselves to let go of all the other things our mind is doing. So you could set a goal. When could I feel the entirety of a single breath in and out? What would it be like to experience every microsecond of a breath in and out, starting with the pause between the breaths? Just notice when your mind wanders and then bring it back to the breath. Two, not your picture of the breath, but the feeling sensation of this moment. Where in the breath are you? Where is it showing up in your belly? How do you experience the breathing belly? Notice what is magnetic for your attention. The day may be different. Your attention may be focused on pain, or it may be focused on something you got to do later, or it might be focused on memory, or maybe it's really just focused on trying to do meditation good. That's okay. Just notice that and then work against that magnetism, change the habits of your attention with the muscle of your concentration. Bring it back. Really experience and feel this sensation right now. There's a pressure to it, there's a shape to it, there's a location to it. It's in three dimensions, left and right. You can find the boundaries of this experience. Up and down, you can find the boundaries of this experience. In and out. Now you may start experiencing some calmness in the body, some relaxation, some peacefulness. That's okay to feel. Don't hold on to it or get attached to it. But it's useful to notice, wow, when I drop underneath my mind, even for a few moments, or even when I just intend to drop underneath my mind, I start to get some calmness. I start to live in the present moment, even for a few moments. My body responds. This might not happen for you today, but it's not uncommon. And it's useful to notice because it's a reward for the present. The present moment has a reward for you. You don't want to hold on to the reward. You want to hold on to the present moment, but the reward will make it easier. Hmm. Okay. So that is a meditation you can continue for the whole 30 minutes if you want. If you want to taste some of the other focus out spaces, we're going to now move to sound. I'm going to begin just by having you attend to my voice as I did in the instructional section. And just see that's the most obvious sound in your voice, in your space, probably. And it's coming from a direction and it has a certain loudness to it and it has a certain pitch to it. And it starts and stops. And you can notice the voice starting and stopping. And you can notice the rhythm of it. And one way to simply help yourself get underneath the words is you just use a label like here. As I'm talking to you, you label here. And then as I continue talking, you label here as you hear this sound come into your space. Now, that is a way of narrowing your attention on a single object of sound. You could use music, or you could use the wind, or you could use your air conditioner, or you could use silence itself. But with sound, it is actually the easiest one to use a global experience. So you just open yourself to your entire space, sound space. And whenever you hear anything, you just label it here. Your mind will immediately picture that thing, or at least try to. If you hear a car, you'll hear the word car, you'll picture it. You hear a bird, you'll have a little picture of a bird. But we're not focused on the picture or the idea. We're interested in the sound. Can you hear the sound? Can you catch each sound as the sound arises? And can you experience it until it goes away? As I said, if there is a continual sound in your environment, you could just focus on that, experiencing its changes, its pitch, its loudness. And I am going to be quiet for a little while here as you open your attention. The sound space. And the sound space goes front and back, left and right, up and down. And it's not just contained to your room or your house. It goes out into the world. Your sound space is very wide. Here, here, here. You notice when your mind gets distracted. What did your mind get drawn to? And then just gently bring your attention back, opening your ears to the sound in your environment. Listening to it as a symphony, a musical piece, a John Cage piece. It's not things or concepts or ideas you're experiencing. You're experiencing sounds, sensory data. And you experience a sound from beginning to end. This is your life. Can you experience it as it's happening? Not ignoring it, not getting lost in your own ideas, actually experiencing this moment. Okay, again, notice, does your body respond to this? Does it get more peaceful? Do you find some relief that's useful? If you want to continue with that, you may. But just to complete our survey of these senses, we're going to open our eyes now. And there's multiple ways one could do this. One can sort of open one eyes sort of halfway and just experience the blur of color of the world. One can open one eyes and try to experience without taking in any particular object. These are different kinds of rest practices. But the simplest is to open our eyes and choose an object to focus on. Most objects in the world are fine. They just have no problems associated with it. Don't, choose an object of your ex-partner or something as a starter place. Choose something that is pretty easily, can just be a button, or it can be a candle, or it could be a flower. It can just be the texture of your couch in front of you. And then you let go of what it is, and you experience as a painter would. To paint a painting, you have to attend to colors as colors, not as objects. The same thing here. You just want to see the thing in front of you. And as you start to see it, subtle is significant. What color is it? Okay, that's just a word, blue, right? But what blue is it? You might even have a word for that. But what version of aquamarine is it, right? What are we seeing? And if you pay close attention, most of the time you'll see that actually, because of shadows, it's not the same color across all of it. The color sort of shifts to a darker version of it or a lighter version. Notice edges. That's one of the basic sensory experiences of the human eye is we see edges, boundaries. So you can just trace an edge with your eye, experiencing the shape of the object. If you're focused on a door, your someone could ask you, what shape is a door? And you just go rectangle, but that's a mind story. So if you see a door, you don't need to name the shape. You can just see the boundary. What is the experience of its shape? It's darker where the boundary is. There's a there's a discontinuity at boundaries. On one side, it's one way. On the other side, it's a different way. The only way you know it's a boundary is by experiencing that difference. Just as we experienced a heavier weight on the right butt cheek or a lighter one on the left, here we can notice the difference across a boundary. And brightness and darkness. There could be shadows, there could be bright light. Unless you chose a candle or a natural object out in the world, it might be a very still object. And that's okay for today. You don't have to notice motion. Although, as you get more comfortable with this experience and you start noticing more and more subtle things, you'll notice that your eyes are always moving. And so, actually, the object itself, whatever you focus on, is always moving in experience. That is a really strong way to show that you've gotten underneath this narrative experience because you know that a door is not moving. But if you pay attention to your experience, you'll see that your experience is moving. This is a way to truly experience your senses: color, light, dark, shape, boundary, location, movement. And so, how still can you make your eyes? It's a kind of physical proxy for the stillness of your attention. Your eyes will continue moving, so don't try to break your brain trying to keep them from moving back and forth. But can you see that highlight on that object continually for 1 second, for 2 seconds, for 3 seconds? Never wavering, watching it as if it's about to explode into a miracle. But you have to be there to see it. You have to notice every detail. And you can use a label like see. Every time you actually experience the present moment sensory awareness, see. I am seeing my life. See, see, see. I'm going to count to 10. Just see if you can't stay with your object, with a part of your object, with a color or a light for the whole 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we're going to finish there for today. You may continue as you want. And as always, we want to start to let go of the formal elements of the practice, but we don't need to let go of the essential elements of the practice. So we start to move. That's part of the formal element. We let go of controlling our attention. That's part of the formal element. But we can continue to stay present as we feel, how does our body want to move? That is a feeling sensation. We're tuning into the sensation of desire, really. How do we want to stretch? How do we want to stand up? As we start to look around our room and hear our space, can we continue to be, can you notice how much more vibrant maybe the colors of your life are? How much more intense and present the sounds are? And how much more you are in your body? Maybe not all of that is happening. Maybe none of that is happening for you today. But if you practice this for a while, you will have this experience of suddenly being like, wow, life is richer just sitting here without anything interesting happening other than normal life. So have a good day, stretch yourself, and tune in with the external sensory world as often as you can.